Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a friendship bracelet that looks like this. I think it's called Chevron. So you can make this bracelet using however many colors you want. Today I'm going to be making it with 4 colors. And the first step is picking out your colors and then cutting them. So I cut my strings as long as both my arms. So I go like this and then I cut the string. And then once I cut one string, I use that string to make the rest of the strings. So I measure all the other strings with the first string to make sure that they are all the same length. So now I have all of my strings cut the same length. And then what I'm going to do is fold them over themselves so that they match up on the bottom. They're all around the same length on the bottom, and then at the top you have a little loop. And then you're going to make a knot at the top. So I hold it like this, and then I just wrap it around itself and use my finger to make a little knot at the top. And then once you're done, your knot will look like this. The next thing you want to do is find a surface to do your bracelet on. I have a table here. What you're going to do is tape your strings down to the table. So you're going to tape your bracelet down like this, and then you're going to lay out your strings like this. So you're going to have, it's like a mirror, so what is on this side is on that side. So you have your first 2 strings in the middle like this, and then those will be the same color, and then you'll have the same color on the outside of those 2 strings, and then the same color on the outside of those 2 strings, and then your last color on the outside of those. So this is what your bracelet should look like right before you start making it. So the rest of the bracelet is just making a bunch of different of the same kind of knot. So this is how you make the knot. You're going to take your first 2 strings in 2 different hands. So I have my 2 hands like this. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make a 4. So I'm going to put the black string over the red string like this. And then that makes a little 4 at the top. And then what you're going to do is you're going to reach through this loop and you're going to grab the black string on the other side and pull that one through. So then you have this little loop, and you're going to pull it all the way to the top of the string and then pull it tight. And you're going to make that same 4 knot twice. So here I have my 4, and I'm going to pull the black string through and then push the knot down and pull it tight. Then, once you do 2 knots on the red string with the black string, you're going to switch the 2 strings, put the red string on the top, and then you're going to do the same thing on the white string. So I'm going to hold the white string tight with my right hand, and I'm going to make the 4 knot with the black string on the white string. So then I'm going to just pull this through and push the knot down, and you do that twice. Then you do the same 2 knots on the last string. Once you're done on the one side, you should end up with your black string in the middle, and then all of the other strings have moved up one. Then you're going to do the same exact thing on the other side. So you want to make sure that your strings are still lined up in the same way that they were before. So I'm going to start with my black and red strings again. The only thing different about this side is that you're going to make a backwards 4 knot. So last time the 4 crossed over like this. This time the 4 is going to cross over like this. The way I remember this is that the 4 always points out. So this 4 is pointing out the bracelet, not into the bracelet. And the same thing happens on the other side. So I'm going to pull the string through again and make 2 knots. Every time you make a knot for this bracelet, you make the knot twice. So there's 2 black knots on that red, and then I'll do the same on the white. And the same on the yellow. And then what you're left with is the 2 black strings in the middle. And then what you do is you just do 2 knots between those 2 same color strings. And with this knot, it doesn't matter if you do the forwards 4 or the backwards 4 knot. And then I switch those 2 strings. So then you're left with basically the same arrangement you started with, but in a different order. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take the outside strings and you're going to make knots on the next strings until you get to the middle, and then you just keep repeating that same thing over and over again until you start to see a pattern. Alright, so after you do those knots for a while, you start to see the pattern. And as you go along, you should keep pushing up the knots onto each other and holding these tight and pushing those up just to keep it all together and make it look nice. Another thing you want to make sure of while you're making your knots is that none of these strings get caught in the knots you're making with this string. So you want to hold all these strings super tight when you're making your knots with this one. The outside string should be the only one that's loose when you're making knots, and then other strings can be pulled tight. So I'll just go over how to make the knots one more time so that you can get more practice. So what you do is you're going to make your 4 that's pointing towards the outside. So you have your 4 that looks like this. And my 4 is usually bigger than this, it's just that my camera is so close to my bracelet so I can't hold it any further away. But the 4 is like that, and then you're going to hold the white string tight and pull the red string through the 4, and you get something like this. You push it up, and then you make another 4. And you pull the string through. Pull the string through. And then see how I'm holding the white one tight and then the red one is loose around the white one? And you just push it up and then make it tight at the top. And then you have your first 2 knots for that line of the bracelet. And then when you're done with your bracelet, it'll look something like this, and you can just make a knot at the end and tie it around your wrist. And these took me a while to learn how to make right. Sometimes you don't know how tight to make the knots or how far apart to make the knots, but after a lot of practice you will be great at it. So good luck, and thanks for watching.